Knowing how to turn sap into syrup isn't just a farm skill, it's the skill of being able to turn a mere tree into a kitchen staple. Today, we're rendering down 3.5 gallons from just 4 days of maple syrup tapping down into syrup. And if I miss this by 2 degrees, I'll mess the entire thing up. Stay tuned, let's get into it. In our last video, we went out, identified maple trees, tapped them, and then we're collecting maple syrup. Right now, in 4 days, we collected about 4 gallons of maple syrup. I kept it cool, waited for this moment. We started a fire underneath and made this makeshift outdoor fireplace because this is gonna take, with this much syrup in one pot, is gonna take could take like 8 to 10 hours. So we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna manage this and watch the sap turn to syrup.
There's a few reasons to do this outside. For one, it's way more cost efficient because all that we're doing is burning wood. 2, all that steam gets inside of your house and not all houses have ventilation that actually take the steam and push it outside. And 3, we have a working kitchen, let alone I could just set this thing up and not have to worry about it for hours. You're gonna see me start this process with the lid on, but that's really just to get the temperature up, and then once we're good and the steam's going, we're gonna leave that off and let all the steam leave.
What we want is for the water to leave and the sugar to stay. So that's what we're basically doing. We're just gonna cook off all the water and have the maple syrup thicken up. I'll periodically pop in and check in what this is doing throughout the day and show you along through the process.
The nice thing about this next part, it's pretty much just set it and forget it. I know it's gonna take about 10 hours. If I was doing a smaller load, I'd check on it more, but I pretty much just put it here and come back and check on it. As I come back and look for everything, I'm looking for color change and how much that liquid has actually started to render down. I would show you the color change at this point, but it's actually pretty hard with all the steam coming up.
I'd say we started about this high and we're maybe about this now. So we still have a decent ways to go. I want to get this burning a little hotter to go a little faster.
Now this took us late into the night. As I said, it took us about 10 hours in total. And the whole time I've just been checking the temperature, getting it as close to 200 degrees as I can, because once it gets to 200 degrees, I'm gonna take the liquid from outside and move it inside. Before I get to the final render down part, I want to strain this because a lot of debris and ash and just stuff flying around from outside can actually get inside of the sap, and it's way harder to filter out once everything is so thick. And so here you can actually see how much was in the liquid itself. But once that's done, it'll be much easier to take everything we have, put it into a smaller bowl, and then finish in that smaller inside pan so that we can render down to the final product of syrup. And you can see how much darker the liquid actually is from when we started. Before it was like an actual watery color, now it's starting to look like syrup.
One of the biggest reasons why we didn't start with the outside part inside of the house, where we did outside with the big rendering down, is because there's so much steam, there's so much sap, it's actually gonna get everywhere. And I've heard many stories of it just getting all over and everything's sticky and it's hard to clean. So you do this outside, propane outside, or fire like I did. Like, you can do this too. This is really easy, low cost, as long as you have some firewood.
We're now down to the most crucial step, where every second matters. We really have to watch this because, well, first off, the first time I ever did this, I burned my syrup and it tasted terrible, and it's because I wasn't watching the temperature. 219 is the key temperature. Even if you're not careful with this, I'd pull it out right before then, but 219 degrees and then get it immediately off of the heat. Then once it's off of the heat, I can immediately put it into a jar. In this case, we started with about 4 gallons or 3.5 to 4 gallons of sap, and that got us down to 1.5 cups of syrup. It seems like a tiny bit for so much, but keep in mind, this was only 4 days of maple syrup tapping. So the sap that came out for 4 days is what actually went into here. So this could go on for about a month, and you can imagine how much you could get.
Now, after all that, we need the taste test. And let's see. So the only way I could describe the difference from doing it at home in the store, I can make it thicker and it's almost more caramelly and it's just way better. If you want to know how we started this process, I'll make sure that there's a link at the very end of this and you can go watch that video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later.